On a quiet night in Buenos Aires, Argentina, two cars sat parked on the side of a narrow road, their engines off, lights dimmed. Inside them, 7 men waited in silence, eyes locked on a nearby bus stop. They were agents of Mossad, Israel's intelligence agency, and they had spent years preparing for this very moment. A bus was due any minute now, line 203. It was supposed to carry a man returning home from work, but when the bus arrived, no one got off. The agents grew tense. Had all their years of planning been for nothing? 2 of them stepped out and pretended to fix a car engine, buying time. Then, another bus rolled in. 2 people stepped off, a woman and a man. The man was their target. His name was Adolf Eichmann, the architect of the Holocaust, one of the most wanted Nazi war criminals in history. This was the culmination of a global manhunt that had lasted for over 15 years, a high-stakes mission to capture the man who helped engineer the murder of 6 million Jews. The story begins in January 1942 on a lakeside villa on the edge of Berlin. 15 senior Nazi officials gathered for what would later be known as the Wannsee Conference. They were highly educated men. 8 of them held doctorates. Their agenda? To finalize Hitler's final solution to the Jewish question. The meeting took less than 2 hours. The outcome was chilling. Jews would be deported to Eastern Europe, forced into labor, and ultimately exterminated. Adolf Eichmann, who organized the meeting, was in charge of implementing the plan. Once a high school dropout, Eichmann had risen through the ranks of the SS. In 1932, he joined Hitler's elite guard and eventually became the head of Jewish affairs in the Nazi regime. He orchestrated the logistics of genocide, trains to death camps, gas chambers, crematoria. He optimized the killing process to the point where victims were reduced to 2 handfuls of ash. Each transport to a death camp was approved by him with a telegram for special treatment. When the war ended in 1945, Eichmann vanished. He fled Austria, adopted a series of aliases, and tried to disappear among the chaos of post-war Europe. First caught and detained by Allied troops, he escaped twice. In one instance, a tattoo beneath his left armpit, marking his SS blood type, exposed his identity. But by claiming he was a low-ranking soldier named Adolf Eichmann, he avoided prosecution. He lived under various names, working as a lumberjack and chicken farmer. Eventually, Eichmann learned that Argentina had become a haven for former Nazis. With help from a network of sympathizers in rat lines, secret escape routes often aided by clergy, he made his way to South America. In 1950, under the name Ricardo Clement, Eichmann settled in Buenos Aires. Thousands of kilometers away in Frankfurt, West Germany, Jewish prosecutor Fritz Bauer had dedicated his life to justice. A survivor of Nazi persecution himself, Bauer returned to post-war Germany to build a democratic legal system. He became one of the few officials willing to confront the Nazi past, often working in isolation. One day, Bauer received a letter. It came from a man in Argentina who claimed Eichmann was alive and living under the name Ricardo Clement. The informant said his daughter had dated Eichmann's son. The letter included an address. Bauer was cautious. If he pursued extradition through official channels, there was a high chance Eichmann would be warned. Many West German officials still had Nazi ties. So Bauer chose another path. He contacted the Israeli government. Mossad sent an agent to Argentina. He visited the address. What he found was an unremarkable house, far removed from the grandeur expected of a man like Eichmann. The agent reported back uncertainly. Mossad nearly called off the mission. Then, within months, 3 West German officials insisted Eichmann was not in Argentina, but likely in the Middle East. All 3 had Nazi connections. Bauer knew the old boy's network was in motion. So he set a trap. A fake press release claimed Eichmann was hiding in Kuwait. It was meant to lull him into a false sense of security. Mossad resumed surveillance. They confirmed that Ricardo Clement worked at a local Mercedes-Benz factory and rode the same bus every night. On May 11, 1960, the agents moved in. One agent, wearing gloves to avoid direct contact, approached Eichmann as he walked home. In seconds, they tackled him into a ditch, blindfolded him, and drove him to a safe house. The mission had succeeded. At the safe house, Eichmann denied his identity, but Mossad had detailed records. His height, head circumference, and scars matched. The agents played a final trick. They deliberately cited his SS number incorrectly. Eichmann instinctively corrected them. That was the confirmation they needed. The next challenge was getting him out of Argentina. Israel arranged a secret operation. An El Al flight was scheduled for a diplomatic visit to Argentina's national celebration. Eichmann was sedated, dressed in a flight uniform, and posed as an ill crew member. Other agents pretended to be drunk, escorting him onto the plane. Once the aircraft left Argentine airspace, the mission leader made the announcement. Adolf Eichmann was aboard, en route to Israel to stand trial. In Jerusalem, 1961, the world watched as Eichmann was tried for crimes against humanity. He sat in a glass booth, calm and defiant. Chief Prosecutor Gideon Hausner began with the words, "When I stand before you, judges of Israel, to prosecute Adolf Eichmann, I am not alone. With me stand 6 million accusers." Eichmann insisted he was just following orders, but documents and survivor testimonies told another story. Witness after witness described the horrors of the camps, the executions, the trains, the ashes. On December 15, 1961, Eichmann was found guilty on nearly all counts. He showed no remorse. He was hanged in May 1962. Fritz Bauer continued his work, bringing former Nazi officials to justice. He died in 1968, largely unrecognized. Only years later did the world learn that he had been the key figure behind Eichmann's capture. The mission to find Eichmann wasn't just about one man. It was about memory, justice, and refusing to let history be buried. In the end, the man who tried to erase millions was found, tried, and remembered, not by the world he helped build, but by the one that rose from its ashes.